Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 36. In this lesson, we discuss the distributive property of rational expressions that contain positive exponents, and we look at minus signs and negative exponents once again. It's easy to multiply fractions. You just multiply their numerators and denominators. For example, 2/3 times 5/7 is 10/21. If the fractions contain variables, we use the same rule. For example, mx over 4y times ax over 2y is amx squared over 8y squared. We just multiply the numerators and denominators. The distributive property is also applicable to expressions that contain fractions. Such expressions are called rational expressions. For example, x over y times parentheses a over y minus b is equal to x over y times each of those terms, and that simplifies to ax over y squared minus bx over y. Here are some more examples. X squared over y squared times parentheses x squared over y minus 3y third over m. That's equal to x squared over y squared times x squared over y minus x squared over y squared times 3y third over m. Now we need to simplify these two fractions. The first, multiplying numerators and denominators, is x fourth over y third. And then for the second, we have minus. Let's write the y third and the y squared in expanded form because we are going to be able to cancel some y's. So the second term can be thought of as 3x squared times y times y times y over m times y times y. But two of those y's cancel there. And so this product can be simplified to x fourth over y third minus 3x squared y over m. Another example, ab over c squared times parentheses abx over c plus 2bc minus 4x over c squared. We distribute the ab over c squared. For the first term, we have ab over c squared times abx over c. For the second term, we have ab over c squared, which here is written as c, times 2bc over 1. Why do you suppose we wrote it as c times c in the denominator there? To cancel one of the c's. That's why we did that. And then for the third term, we have ab over c squared times 4x over c squared. So if we simplify each of these terms, the first is a squared b squared x over c to the third. In the second term, one of the c's cancels, so we have 2ab squared over c. And then the third term is minus 4abx over c fourth. Now we consider minus signs and negative exponents. Expressions that contain both minus signs and negative exponents can be troublesome. A minus sign in front of an expression indicates the opposite of the expression. For example, minus parentheses 2 minus 5 is the opposite of 2 minus 5, in other words, the opposite of negative 3, which is positive 3. minus parentheses x minus 5 is the opposite of x minus 5, and that's the opposite of x minus negative 5. In other words, the opposite of x plus the opposite of negative 5 there. So it's equal to the opposite of x plus 5. It's like the minus sign distributes over the parentheses. It changes each of the terms inside the parentheses to its opposite. Here we have the opposite of the absolute value of 2 minus 5. That's the opposite of the absolute value of negative 3. Well, the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3, and we have the opposite of that, so the answer is negative 3. Here we have the opposite of 3 squared. That's the opposite of 3 times 3. And so that's negative 9. You see that minus sign there does not belong to the 3. It belongs to the expression 3 squared. And that's why the answer is negative 9. Here's the opposite of negative 2 to the third power. Well, negative 2 to the third power is negative 8, so this is the opposite of negative 8, which is positive 8. You have to be careful about things like this. A negative exponent has an entirely different meaning. For example, 3 to the negative 2 power means 1 over 3 to the positive 2 power, and so it's 1 over 9. X to the negative 5 power means 1 over x to the positive 5 power. Negative 4 to the negative 2 power means 1 over negative 4 to the positive 2 power, and that happens to be 1 over 16, because negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Opposite of 4 to the negative 2 here is the opposite of 1 over 4 to the 2. You see, the negative 2 power belongs to the 4, not the negative sign there. It is not the number negative 4 to the negative 2. It is the opposite of 4 to the negative 2. So this is equal to negative 1 over 16. Here's some practice. See if you can say the right answer before I do. Five squared. Yeah, that's 25. 5 times 5. Parentheses negative 5 squared. Is that 25 or is it negative 25? It is positive 25 because of the parentheses. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. What about this one? What's that equal to? It's negative 36 because the minus sign belongs to the expression. There are no parentheses there. What's this? 7 to the negative 2 power. It's 1 over 49 because it's 1 over 7 squared, and 7 squared is 49. How about this one? Negative 3 to the negative 2. It's 1/9. because it's 1 over negative 3 to the 2 power, and negative 3 squared is positive 9. What's this? 2 to the negative 3. It's 1/8 because it's 1 over 2 to the positive 3, and 2 to the 3 is 8. What's this? Well, that's just negative 5. There's no exponent there. Negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5. How about this one? That's positive 6 because a negative times a negative is a positive. How about this? That's negative 1/9 because the minus sign belongs to the expression, not to the 3. And this one, negative 2 to the negative 3. It's negative 1/8. It's 1 over negative 2 times itself 3 times, and 3 negatives multiplied to a negative. This is the end of lesson 36. Your assignment, problem set 36 on pages 148 and 149 of your book.